All right, for cosine law, also a law that can be used to solve for any missing side or any missing angle for any type of triangle. We have a setup that begins with information that looks very much like Pythagorean theorem. So if I just cancel this out for a second, if that wasn't there, then we have a relationship that shows that two sides squared, or the sum of two sides squared, equals the other side squared. Now, this additional information at the end, a product that's subtracted, is how or why this law can now work for any type of triangle. The triangle has to be labeled in the same way as we said before, so capital letters for the outside, for the angle, sorry, and lowercase letters for the sides. And it's set up a squared equals b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cos a. Now, if you're not looking for angle A, side A, let's say you're looking for side B, you're going to set it up in a similar way. So you start with B. Notice the other two sides have to be named next. And then the product is between the two sides that are on the right of the equal sign. And it's going to be multiplied by the cosine of angle B, because there's a B at the beginning, so there should be a B at the end. And similarly, if it was c squared, the two sides we haven't written down yet are a and b. So, oops, sorry, I forgot the 2 up there. And then you're going to multiply by 2, ab, because those are the sides we just wrote down, multiplied by the cosine of angle c. So the beginning and the end always match. Little c, big C. This law can be used when all the sides are given, so people call that side, side, side. It can also be used when you have a contained angle. And contained means that you know the information between two sides. So if I have the angle between side B and C, then I can use cosine law. And we'll see that in the next example. Okay, here we have, if we label our triangle, A, B, C, we are given little a, little b, and we are looking for little c, and we have angle C. So there's a contained angle right here. We're going to set it up then, because we're looking for small c, the version of cosine law that starts with c squared. So c squared equals a squared plus b squared minus 2ab cosine of c. And all of this information on the right-hand side has been given, so we substitute it in. This is all multiplication note on the right-hand side here, this portion. Cosine of 40 degrees. Okay, and if you look at the picture, you can note that 40 degrees is not really to scale, and that's okay. We're just going to use the numbers and do the calculation. Be aware that sometimes your drawings and diagrams are not to scale. Everything on the right-hand side can be typed in one shot. So 8 squared plus 9 squared minus the product of 2 times 8 times 9 times cosine 40. Type that all in. And remember that since this is trigonometry, we have to round in between steps to at least 4 decimal places. So it's 34.6896. And our last step, just like Pythagorean theorem, is that you have to take the square root of this value. Okay, on your calculator, you can use the answer button because the number will still be on your screen. And approximately that works out to 6 meters. Okay, and once again, as I mentioned, in the diagram that's not to scale, so it doesn't seem to be correct, but based on an angle of 40 degrees, this would be the answer. If you're using cosine law to solve for an angle, so if you look here, we're missing angle A in the second example, all the sides must be given. Okay, and we're then going to set it up so that we start with little a, because eventually we want to find angle A, so cosine of A has to be at the end of the expression. Okay, we fill in everything else, so b squared plus c squared minus 2bc cosine A. Now, it is actually a little bit simpler to rearrange this first and isolate for cosine of A, so I'm going to do that before substituting the values in. So if cosine of A is what I want to isolate, I need to move everything that isn't cosine of A to the other side. So A squared minus B squared minus C squared. So each of these have been moved. So we change them from a positive to a negative. In that step, then I have this in between, or after that step, I have this in between step. So I've moved them over. And now here we have a product, negative 2 times B times C times cosine of A. So to isolate for cos A, we need to divide by the coefficients on both sides. Okay, and that will allow this to cancel over here, leaving me just cosine A. And I now have an equation on the left-hand side where I can substitute my values. Everything there is given. They're all sides, and they're all given in the question. So let's do that. Let's replace the values. So cosine A equals A squared, so 55 squared, minus B squared, 26 squared, minus 32 squared, divided by negative 2 times B, which is 26, times C, which is 32. Okay, and just type that carefully into your calculator as well, and you'll get that cos A equals negative 0. Remember 4 decimal places, 7,963. And if I once again use the answer button on my calculator, that's always more accurate, but what I'd be typing in is that I need the inverse cos of the answer on my screen. So that we get A is an angle that is approximately 143 degrees. And in this case, it looks more to scale. Because side A is so long, angle A would be an obtuse angle. So there's our answer.